Oh, sweet Jesus. Tricky things happening here in PGHQ this morning, team. Someone walks in. Chris strolls in like he owns the fucking place. Grabs himself a ladder. Tells me to get out of the office because he needs to take some pictures. He needs to take some images. Why? He won't tell me. But apparently, it's something to do with you lot. You're up to something. You're up to something and I don't like it. You'll be playing some sort of mind games. Sussy indeed. Trust in the chat. I mean, could you make a bigger failing in your entire life than trusting in the Twitch chat? Suspect. Chaos is a ladder. Chaos is uncomfortable. Grating. Painful. But will it be as painful as Final Fantasy IV? A brand new MSQ has been started. Put this in. Yeah, put it. The revelation of the Black Knight. The knight clad in black armor. And I don't know nothing about him. So we're going to find out, because apparently he's been pulled directly from FF4, which means we need to investigate FF4, doesn't it? That's what that means. That's what that means. We need to find out what the fuck is going on so we can make some bold predictions, wild speculation, generate theories of absolutely zero substance. Gigakawa takes a step back, allows the peons to run wild. I'm a little scared of what the next portion of the MSQ will be. All I don't want to hear is like, Gigakawa would have done it better. Boo to hiss. Level 2, I'm trying to start the day, you mother chunkers. Johnny, Seraphel, Phil with the high five, Zelaranda, Chrissy Chris, Miro Shapiro, Dan Alexander, Private Hudson. 2 years, dude. Breath of foam. Hiss, boo-boo, hiss. Yes, we did have the big WoW announcement yesterday. General vibe mixed from some, especially the more dedicated FF14 players. Quietly optimistic. A good start. I did miss out yesterday as we did host Max at the end of the stream. Throw Max some love, and then he messaged me immediately saying, can we jump on comms? Let's talk about it. But I'd literally turned everything off, and my family was like, hi, Mike, you've been streaming for like 12 hours. Could you possibly come home? I was like, yeah, I've got to go home. I can't sit and talk about WoW for another hour. That's going to be a big problem. I was like, I'm going, dude. I've got to go home. No home. Stay. Game. Continue to game. Resiel, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. No dodgers in my chat. The unsubbed, the unwashed, the pores. Looking down upon them, the dodgers. Resiel providing all that love. Riding home? Indeed. Riding home. Get back. Go home and hug the kiddies. Well, I got home and they were just like tired. They were just like, I don't know. Forever a dodger. Embrace the dodge lifestyle. Worship that cult. So, Bex, we had 2 things happen this week which kind of suck. The main one is that our website went down, which sucked. So we lost all our email for like 3 days or something. Which really sucks. So drama will not be on Friday. What we would like to do instead, though, is room inspections on Friday and get back to drama on next Friday. We would like to do that. So, our good lady Bex, our little community coordinator / highlights lady / drama inspector, all those things. If you are a crawler, which there are hundreds of you, if you are a crawler, Bex will be putting up a sheet as if you've modified your room in some way and you would like us to check it out, let her know. I expect only the creamiest of the cream. I want the business. I want the greatness. I want to see your creative bubbles, juices. I want the whole thing so we can see it going. And me and Chris were chit-chatting this morning, as we tend to do, Mr. Chris. We do tend to chit-chat and have a conversation before I come and spend my day with you guys. PvP tournament? Prize pool? Details to follow? But, and here's the thing, but, you have to make yourself a little poster with your adventure plates. Otherwise, you're not eligible. You know what I mean? That's the important part of it. I don't care whether you win, lose, or draw. I don't care. But it needs to be a quality. Quality. I want a team name. I want the whole thing. I want the whole thing. That's right. We haven't had a good event in game for a while. Since Saturday. Since literally Saturday. And we want to get some more on the board. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing that. The PvP Totally sign up is in a channel that crawls Discord. Yes. Yes. But I mean, if I'm going to cast it, I need a caster's desk. I need the whole thing. You know what I mean? Since literally Saturday. It's been like 3 days since we've done an event in FF14, which is just ridiculous. It feels like forever ago. And I can't live with myself if that's going that way. One thing I know is considering Daniel's positive feelings of Game of Thrones Season 8, there better be a situation of Alexstrasza pulling a Daenerys. Well, we don't know the big bad. Let's talk about WoW for just a hot second here. We don't know much of anything other than we're working together. I actually was pretty happy. Some cool information came out from the interviews, though, after the big announcement, which I thought was pretty dope. Let's jump over here real quick. Whoosh. Oh, look at Jackson's face. Oh, he's so pretty. He's so pretty, said Jackson. Look at his face. Look at him. I'm going to scrap that beard up. I want to scry it up. But that's about PvP. Don't care. Sorry, Badge. Don't care. But, did you guys see this? There are no borrowed power systems in Dragonflight. Did you guys see this? There are no borrowed power systems in Dragonflight. Any believers? Yet. Oh, no. So far, I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know. No believers? No believers? I thought this was pretty dope, man. I read that and it said, but instead a revamp of systems that players are familiar with. What does that mean? What does that mean? But the new talent tree, I mean, maybe they're referring to that, but you could say, they would have said, I think they would have said something like, yeah, but the talent tree, right? We're just putting it into the talent tree. There are tier sets. But the buts. Okay, what's the but? Because this is the thing. This is the classic. If we follow the sort of similar announcement schedule that Blizz has, is usually the big announcement is all positives. Thumbs up. All positives. Later down the line, we might learn a little thing or two that might make you go, maybe. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. There was a number of cool things in here. Let me have a little flicky through here. Dragon Isles are so large, so Dragon Riding is also a unique way to navigate the world. Okay, let's just hope there's something in the world, and it's not just, it's not just like, whoosh, and that's it. That would suck. Oh, thank you. Level 3 hype train. Madrid for 1,000 bits. Thank you for bringing the content. I can't wait for the second tier of 25 man raid. Same, man. Let's find out what those gods are. On a Musha Nostalgia Cube. 15 gifted subs between them. You love machines. You're absolutely amazing. You're absolutely amazing. You guys are fucking incredible. It's a step in the right direction. Yes! That's what I thought. And that's what I said to Max last night. And a little brief, he was like, what did he say to me? It was like, well, just tell me, did you like it? I thought it was fucking cool. And I said, I did like it. I said I turned everything off, so I've got to go home and see the kids. But I said nearly everything they announced has exceptional amounts of potential. And nothing that made me facepalm. It was very, very nice. That was like my summary. It's like nothing they said made me go, oh no. Oh no. Everything about it was like, this all has wonderful potential. Like, everything about it. But I did say that about the Shadowlands as well. So, fingers crossed for quiet excitement. Again, I want to be super clear on this before everybody's like, but you don't fucking cover WoW anymore, you piece of shit. You said you weren't doing it anymore. Why are you doing it? As I also said, I still play the game. Well, I don't anymore, actually. I actually don't. Oh, you know what I just realized? Oh, this is so sad. I don't have it installed on my computer. Oh, look at that. That's a fucking bummer. I don't even have it installed on the PC. But I would like to play the game that was my favorite game for like a decade. I would like that to happen. Is that okay? Internet? Is that okay? I would like to play it if it's fun. I would like to play fun video games. Is that okay? Is that okay? No? Okay. No, I would like to play your game. I would like to. Xenos, thank you for the gifted subs as well, man. Thank you. Kami, Silestarler. Oh my god. No Dodgers here today. Sundays with a big smile. Oh god, 19 months. Hasn't it been way longer than that, Sundays? I think it has. I would like to play the game that literally built me a career and got me this office with people who work for me. I would like to play your game. That would be nice. Flying in the Dragon Isles will not require a Pathfinder achievement. Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah, dude. Dumbass Pathfinder achievement. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. So dumb. God bless. God bless. God bless. God bless. Oh, so good. So good. Okay. The Dragon Isles was chosen expansion because it was one of the few remaining known places in Azeroth yet to explore. As a person who knows practically nothing about the Warcraft universe, aka this guy, I had no idea about the Dragon Isles. But, I mean, every fantasy story has Dragon Isles. So, there you go. I don't know who Murazond is. Oh, Galacrond. I don't know. Midgard Soma? That guy I know. I know who that is. I have no idea about the dragon story. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I have no idea. I have no idea. Muradon is a crazed Nosdamu. Nosdamu is the timey-wimey guy. He's the Doctor Who dragon. I know who that guy is. He's the one who stands outside the Cabinets of Time. Yeah. Nailed it. I know what's going on. The more I thought about this, I know this was a bone of contention for some people, but the Evoker being just Drakthir and Drakthir being just Evoker, I actually fully embrace if they go balls to the wall with it. I think they could show off. My hope for this is, genuinely, is that they show that having, like, more locked down stuff that they can really tailor towards those setups can prove to be really fucking cool. If they go more Burning Crusade with it and fucking love it, and really embrace it, this could be dope. And so that the next time they announce something like this, people are like, awesome. Because that's what you want. Like WoD flying. I don't want it to be like WoD flying, where they're like, you're not flying anymore. We're going to make the world awesome by making you stay in your garrison 100% of the time. And it didn't work out at all. I hope they really embrace this and they can go mad with dragon stuff. Drakthor better be able to fly around the Isle with those wings of theirs, or else it was an epic fail. I don't think Drakthir will be able to fly. We saw that they get glide passively, which is good in and of itself, because glide is awesome. Is absolutely awesome. But I want them... They could, like, make so many choices. They could make so much choices because they don't have to account for Drakthir warriors, Drakthir mages, any of that shit. What they could do is they can go, right, the Evoker is a dragon, which means we could do some really cool stuff with it, and only they could be that way, which means we can make this badass, we can give them really cool animations, we could do so much with it. So I really hope they prove that this is a good thing, and not something where everyone's like, but I want a Drakthir hunter! People will always be like that, but generally speaking, people are like, no, this is cool. This is cool. We could do some really awesome stuff with this. So we saw that movable eye beam. We saw the fire breath, which is great. So things like that were really cool. Maybe we got enough time to make them look good. I did not like the looks. I did not like the visuals, but I think compared to some of the more modern classes, races they made, like the Vulpera, like I know everyone goes, ha ha ha, you fuck goats or whatever. But I was always in the camp that the Vulpera look awesome and their animations were sick. I thought they looked really fucking cool. So I think Vulpera visually were better than the Drakthir. But, I mean, it's subjective. It's whatever, right? It's whatever. It's like people who like Hrothgar. They exist. Not for me. Not for me. Threads of Fate leveling system for alts will be utilized. Hope it gets iterated on. It's a bit more interesting, because at the start that was kind of Blizzard is looking into making more systems account-wide, so I read nothing into this at all. I don't know what that means. Is reputation going to be account-wide? Are they whole? I mean, you can't. I cannot go back to a pre-FF14 world. Again, I don't think. I don't think I could go back to a world where my one character doesn't just literally have everything. Like, you know what needs to go away at least initially? Stop taxing people on spreading their resources. Why do we pay a tax on resources we've farmed? Why? Why? If I farm Torghast and have a shitload of soul ash, why do you tax me on sending it? Like the fucking government or whatever. What are you doing? I farmed it. It's mine. I'm sending it to my character. Why are you taxing me? Why do I run this like 20% tax rate on my own resources that I farmed? What are you fucking doing, man? I gave you my hours of my life and you're taxing me on it. You fucking Jeff Bezos motherfuckers. Back up. Back up. I don't need to pay tax on soul ash and fucking bizarre currencies that you put into the game. So I really hope that they change their mentality on that, because it's rude more than anything. It's fucking rude. Like, I farmed it with my life, my sweat and my tears, man. I had to watch so much Netflix to go through Torghast, and now you're taxing me on it. Like, please don't do that. But it's also supposed to be right about in-depth open world experience. World Quest 2.0. Again, skepticism with this. I hope they do. I really hope they do. I hope they look to things like Bosnia for some inspiration, because Bosnia is the tits for open world in-depth content. It's such a good step in the right direction. I hope they look that way. But we shall see. No borrowed power systems. The team saw the release of WoW Classic that much of the strengths of the old talent system still work today and tried to find a way to incorporate into the modern game. Yeah! Yeah. There's so much, again, I'm going to use that criminal word, potential, with the new talent system. I think even the most... not this one. This one. I think even the most casual Andy, Tommy Two Fingers, can utilize this. This really excites me. This really excites me. Is this loadouts, talent tree loadouts, and seemingly does not require some sort of currency. This gets me very, very excited. Loadouts that don't require some sort of currency, stupid tomes, books of shit that needs to come with it. But again, as I pointed out yesterday, I really, really hope that these ones here, these little jobbers with the stacks of them, aren't just increase the effectiveness of that spell by X%. Please, God, no. For the love of God, please, no. If I take Cenarian Ward here, and then I need to pick up this one to buff it by like 9% or whatever, like, please, God, no. Like, what I would love to see here, what I'm hoping for in my copium-filled lifestyle is that this is like, you get wild growth. If you put 2 into it, your wild growth cooldown is reduced by a decent amount because you're going to be AoE healing a lot more. And if you get 3 in it, you can now cast wild growth on the move. Why do I hope for that? Pretty simple. That means that sometimes I want this and sometimes I don't. And I could simply say, oh, I'm more stationary for this fight, which means I don't need wild growth on the move, so now I can invest my talent points somewhere else, and I can tailor my character towards the encounter and to what I need. If it's a high mobility fight, yes, maybe I want to take this and go that route with it. Same with the Ironbark. If this is some fight where the tanks get crushed or individuals get marked with Doom or whatever it might be, is that if I take the extra points in Ironbark, it dramatically reduces the cooldown, but only makes it last like a couple of seconds, so good players can utilize that in a good way, and things like that. That's what I want to see in this talent tree. What I do not want is you get Ironbark, your Ironbark is 5% more effective, your Ironbark is 10% more Please don't do that. Make the spells really fun and interesting and allow for, and I'm going to say this unironically, meaningful choices. And I genuinely mean that. with the bottom of my heart, allow me to have meaningful choices. Instead of like, well, I have to put 3 points in here in order to get over here, and I need to put that point in there in order to get germination, so I gotta go that way. I want meaningful choices. That's what I want. I want meaningful choices that matter, and that I can go, ooh, well, I don't need that right here, which means I can pick up this, or I can pick up this, and do stuff like that. Or maybe it allows me to come around here, and I can pick up something else. That would be dope. That would be dope. Little dubious the Heart of the Wild is buried so far down here. But, like why is the Innovate logo here? What's that? Like, here, this should be something like, your Innovate can now be put onto another target. Like, we would see, if this was the Priest one, we'd want this with Power Infusion, right? Your Power Infusion can now go on a different target. And I imagine a lot of these are Legendary built in. I think the shapes of the icon square circle relate to something. Yeah, I do. These are spells. If they're in the square, that's a new spell, right? The circles are passive benefits, is what it looks like to me. So this is like, you get Life Bloom, this is Efflorescence, this is Nature's Cure, this is Ironbark, but this is Omen of Clarity, which is a passive buff. So it'll be like, you pick up Life Bloom here, but if you pick up Omen of Clarity, your Life Bloom, which you definitely have because you picked up the last tier, can now give you the free chance for a free spell. So the square ones are new spells that you're gaining, and the circles are passive buffs. These ones down here, this one, and in fact in the video, this is wrong. Or not wrong, but this is already selected. These are split talents. So at the end game, this one here, for example, is not just Convoke the Spirits. It's a choice of Incarnation or Convoke. So you have to pick. You can see it's got the little arrows on it. So that means you can cycle between 2 spells that you pick up here. So you can't have, from this look, you can't have Incarnation and Convoke the Spirits. You choose one or the other. So same with Germination. So you've got, or Flourish even. You got Flourish here, but there's another spell, another Invoke talent, endpoint talent that's hidden behind this. Yeah, so you pick up Scenario Ward or something else. This will be based basically on what the current talent system is. But same over here. Like, I don't want this to just be like Bark Skin is better. You know what I mean? I don't want this to be Bark Skin is better. And Rejuve is better. Like, it's a little weird that Rejuve appears to be a... Because this is the Resto talent tree, right? But it looks like you don't get Rejuve unless you click here. Which is a little odd, but I mean, potentially it works. But that, if we go off the idea, which it looks like it, that these squares are gaining new spells, Rejuve is over here. And Swiftmend is here as well. So it looks like you could theoretically have a Resto Druid that doesn't have Rejuvenation or Swiftmend. I'm not sure how that'll play out. We'd have to wait and see. That'll come down to balancing and things, but that would be a little odd. You start with the ones on the right. Yeah, I know, but you also get these ones, right? That's not different to what I'm saying. What are the star symbols? Star symbols, I would guess, are not something you need to put points in, but you get after you put a certain amount of points in. So once you put, like, say, 15 points or whatever into this side, you unlock Nature's Swiftness. Once you put, like, 25 points in, you get Tranquility. Once you put X amount of points in here, you get Rebirth. So it looks like you get Rebirth a little later. And then you get Stampeding Roar later on. So that's what that looks like to me. The arrows mean they're options, yes. So you can see this one is a choice between 2. So I know this one from the video is Convoke and Incarnation. So you would pick between 2. You get a few points invested depending on your spec, meaning Resto starts with Rejuve. That's fine. So what? These are predetermined? Is that what you're saying? So when you click Resto, you automatically are given Rejuve, Swiftmend, and what looks like improved Rejuve. Right, so these are mandatory talents. Interesting. 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 Where did you see a source on that? We got a source? Any sources? Check the Wowhead article. Yeah, you got a source? Yeah, why are they in the tree, though? So, I assume what they're saying is, if you chose Guardian, you would probably similarly get Frenzied Rejuve and Thrash and Swipe and Iron Skin. You would probably get those as well. So, it would be... That's because you... I guess what they're saying is, you shouldn't be playing Guardian without having Frenzied Rejuice, Swipe, and Thrash, right? Like, we're just going to help you out that little bit. I'm kind of okay with that. It's like, I'm going to help you out a little bit. You should not be playing a Guardian Druid without Thrash and Swipe. Just letting you know, you should probably have those spells because, you know, Guardian only has like 4 buttons. So if we take 3 away, that would be kind of dog shit because you'd be like, oh, I'm a Guardian Druid. I just press Maul. And that's really good. I just press Maul and Mangle. So, GG. I wonder how changing spec will work. You can actually see it, Tovek. It's here. Unless you're saying, do you need to do it in a city? I hope not. I think, based on what I'm looking at here with this loadout system, is I think you could do this when you're out of combat. I think you could do this, like, out of combat. I would hope that's the case, because what we don't want is, in raids or whatever, that you have to leave the raid to respec. That would kind of kill the system. They said customizes city swap loadouts anywhere. Yeah, they customize the city. Oh, cheers, THD. Mwah, miss you, brother. Yeah, this needs... If you've made a loadout... I'm so excited for the loadout system. It's fucking crazy. I'm so excited for this. Because you can imagine... This should work for everybody. This should work for everybody. The loadout system should work for everybody. Like, you'll have giga tryhards... having fun, having a totally different setup for Halondrus, a totally different setup for Rygalon, considering if the customization of this works out as it should, they will have like a different loadout for every single one, like Mythic plus Tyrannical, Mythic plus Fortified, Mythic plus Bursting, Mythic plus whatever, right? They'll have a different loadout for everything, but Casual Andy will be able to go like, oh, what's my Mythic Plus setup? What's my raid setup? And just copy paste from Icy Veins or whatever, and just also have 3 loadouts. And then your nerds will have like loads. I would expect so. If this talent tree works out as I hope it does, you would be able to do that kind of stuff. Yeah, you'd be able to do it, and it shouldn't be a problem to swap. Even if you min-max by just copying and pasting whatever, you know, you go to Warcraft logs or whatever, and you just copy and paste what somebody else did, you should still be fine, which is great. Lots of balancing? Actually, no. Wrong. Should be way less balancing. Way less balancing, because if this is true... If this is true... If that is true, then there should be way less balancing. If this is a true, it should be a lot less balancing, because the only variation there should be is tier sets. But we do have this word here. So we'll wait and see. Like, instead of revamp of systems could just mean the talent tree system or whatever, but if that is true, there should be way less balancing for them to do this time around. So, that's cool. Go 6. Players, yeah, I think we get it now, though. Yeah, Hex can choose an ability. Yeah, for sure. I think we figured that out. Thanks, guys. It's pretty good. God, I wish they didn't overproduce this so much. But, yeah, the talent tree system I'm super excited for. This is such a good step in the right direction. Yeah, it's way less variables. Like, even though it looks like a lot of variables, you can account for certain things. Like, you're definitely picking up... I like that you can pick up 2 endpoint talents as well. That's nice. That's really nice. You can pick up 2 endpoint talents. That's really cool. I just hope and pray with all my life that these stacked talents here are not just increase the effectiveness by blah percentage. Alright, please don't do that. I beg. Please don't do that. Make them fun. The same with the... we got a picture of it here. Checking, browsing, scanning, looking over. Bleep bloop, bleep bloop. It was on their website. No, these are cutscene pictures. The charge system that the Drakthir are getting. I know I said it yesterday, but if you weren't here because it was late at night. The charge system could be so good! It could be so fucking good! It could be so fucking good, and people will embrace it so much. We got any linkers to the official website? Because there's a picture of it's on there, and it'll make way more sense. WoW Dragonflight website. Yeah. Dope. Okay. The empowered abilities. Right, here. So, same with the talent system, right? Like, this is obviously a heal, Dream Breath, right? what you don't want this to be is like goes further. Right? What I really hope this is because you have to stand and like channel this thing, which is no different. Some people were worried about position and whatnot. There is no healer in the world who's not found opportunities to do like a wild growth, regrowth, right? You are casting 3 separate spells, but it's the same as being stood still and casting 1 spell. So there's always times to achieve that. But what I really, really hope with this system is like you can see the different separation marks. I really hope that like tier 1 is the bulk of the healing, right? Because you've got to imagine this Dream Breath is a heal. So that's the bulk of your healing. And then what I would like to see is choices with the next 2. So like between here and here, this gives you like a heal over time or a mana refund or something like that. So you get like the bulk of the heal here. Then you get, if you do the second tier, you get like an extra heal over time element of it. And if you do the full channel, you get like a hasted effect, or you can, you know, it repeats itself. Something cool that you don't need all the time. Like the bulk of the healing comes from doing the first tick. And then the next stuff is fun bonuses that you don't need all the time. Like, so if you've got something like Lords of Dread, where you've got this consistent ongoing damage, then doing a full channel, big thumbs up. That's really good. But if you've got something like a Meteor Landing, or something that just needs like some top-off burst healing, then 1 tick is fine. And a good healer will make opportunities with that. Legendary Ringing, I'm just saying what I hope to see is that they utilize the system to the fullest so that people aren't... What the problem is, again, going down to WoD flying, is if this comes in and it's just fucking boring, like, everyone's going to be like, well, what's the point, right? Okay, so it's like, this heals like 10%. If I hold it longer, it does 15%. And if I hold it all the way, it's 20%. Like, all what, like, as he said yesterday, is like, is it, because there's like these ticks here, but I think this is just the indication of the cone. It's like, it goes 10 yards, 15 yards, 20 yards. Like, well, because all that means, in a world of World of Warcraft, is a good guild, it actually punishes shitter teams. And that's something that's been a healing problem for a long time, is that the way healing works in WoW, the crappier your team is, the more healing you have to do. In a really stupid scenario, that's how it works. So if you've got a bunch of players, right, who are incapable of standing in one spot when the raid leader says gather, right? Let's say you've got some complete douche nozzle like THD, and he's like, oh, if I move, I lose DPS, and I'm a DPS whore, right? So Max is sat there and he's going, can you guys gather up? And then THD's like, no. I'm just going to stand here and channel my fucking spell, or I'm a warlock, I can't die anyway. And then you miss out on healing them, and your healer's like, well, I'm forced as a shitter player to do a 3-tier cast to try and accommodate this fucking douche nozzle, whereas the top tier players only ever use 1 tier because their team knows how to gather up, right? And therefore this system now punishes crapper players. That's what you don't want. You don't want that scenario. And that happens all the time with healers in progression, in lower down progression guilds. These players don't know what they're doing. They're taking more avoidable damage. The healers have to work harder. And ultimately you get this sort of stacking effect that reverberates through the team and makes things way harder. So that sucks. Could be a WoW version of a limit break. I don't think this is a limit break. This is just a different variation on chain casting spells, because typically with healing as well, there's almost like a macro style of events that happen. And certainly if you watch something like a Disc Priest, there's a very set amount of events that happen in order if you're a Disc Priest, in order to pull off the LOL healing that they're capable of, and it needs to be done. And all healers have something like that, where they go that way. So I really just hope these are just cool modifiers to how the spell works, so you as a player can make choices. Certainly nothing that's like range based, because that inadvertently just punishes players unnecessarily. And if you've got good healers like that are just fucking only ever need to use the 1 tier, that's boring. That's really boring. Do you think the Evoker will be slightly broken at launch to encourage people to reroll? Oh, you're thinking of what happened with Death Knights and Wrath of the Lich King? Hopefully not. There's going to be a weird thing that people will want to try out Drakthir, which means they have to be an Invoker, so this will take time to work itself out. They're not going to be, like... Certainly if you're a Raider or whatever, there's not going to be, like, 5 Evoker raid spots, right? That's not going to happen. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen. So what you might have is this weird period of time until it works itself out when Dragonflight comes out, where everybody's like, oh, I want to try out the Evoker and I want to be a Drakthir. And then there's like half the guild is Drakthir Evokers. And you're like, well, not to ruin your fun, guys, but I mean, we just don't need that many Evokers. So, you know, sorry, unlucky. It's not going to be like the Burning Crusade where Paladins and Shamans joined the factions and everyone was like, well, we need at least 2 Paladins, we need at least 2 Shamans. So that's not going to work out. At least they could be a ranged DPS and a healer, so we should get some good class representation, but I guarantee there'll be way more people playing Drakthir Evokers than there are, like, spots to utilize them. I think the focus should be more be that they're good in dungeon environments, because that's where it could suck. Because they only have 2 specs and only one of them is DPS, if they're shit in dungeons, that's going to suck, because there's going to be a huge amount of people, and you know what the World of Warcraft player base is like. It's like, if you're not playing the last MDI comp, you can't do a +2. That's impossible. So you have that weird scenario where nobody wants Evokers in the group. And, you know, that would be fucking garbage, right? Like, that would be fucking garbage if that happens, because all these people are like, hey, I got my brand new class, I got my brand new thing, and nobody wants me. That would suck. So, potentially, they'll be a little too powerful so they can start getting their representation up in raids. Who do you think's being dropped from the raid because there's a new class and race coming? That's the question, because we don't know what else they provide to the raid. We don't know the utility yet. All we know is that they have a ranged DPS spec and they have a healer spec. That's all we know. So, I mean, there's only a certain amount of raid spots, right? It's only if you're in the mythic tier, so somebody's going. Shaman? It depends what they bring. I'd be interested to see what... I wonder if they'll go with some dragon-style raid utility. I mean, if we look at what dragons have done in the past, if you look at Kill Jaden, we had, like, mana refresh Dragon Breath, if you remember, on the Kill Jaden fight. We've got maybe... I mean, they could have something like a group-wide alter time. That would be dope. If you utilize the Chromatic Dragon fight. Imagine that! That would be OP as fuck! That'd be so broken. Like, raid-wide alter time. That would be fucking crazy. That would be nuts. It would be cool. That would be cool. I mean, if they utilize the new alter time, not the traditional alter time that reset your cooldowns, but self-res. I mean, you could... imagine you could bring people back to life. Like, so, I mean, it kind of be like a really overpowered shaman totem. So, you're all about to wipe. You could do, like, alter time on your evoker. Half the raid dies, and then you alter time back, and they're all alive again. That would be wacky and so broken, but it'd be fun. It would be fun. It would be fun. I mean, they have chromatic access. I imagine they do bring Bloodlust, because that's a chromatic effect. It looks like they're... From what they mentioned in the video, chromatic effects are generally going to involve haste, so I assume they do carry Bloodlust. What else they could do? I mean, they're a healer, so they're going to have some sort of thing. Did you see the interrupts are talents? At least Skull Bash and Solar Flare. Yeah, but I think that's mandatory. I think you'll probably get Skull... I can't imagine they're going to give you a tank without interrupts. I can't imagine that's going to happen. Maybe. Maybe, I don't know. I can't imagine that. That might be a mandatory one. Yeah, that's Resto Skull Bash. Yeah, where's Solar Beam? You have to come all the way down here if you want to be balanced. I wonder if it'll work. I assume it does. That if you pick up Moonkin form as Resto, that your Convoke now does the Moonkin Convoke. I assume it would. Just like it would with Incarn. I can't imagine it wouldn't do that. It's kind of weird that you don't get Sunfire or Starfire unless you talent into it. Unless you... Ooh! A thought occurs to me. I wonder if certain talents you pick up automatically pick up the next 2. I need to see the video on it. Check this. Yeah. This is exactly what... This system should work for everybody. It really should. So what is this saying here? Balance loadout 1, Mythic Plus, Raid AoE, Raid Single Target, Jeff's Max DPS build, Arenas, World Quests. Yeah, absolutely. Import! Oh. Yes. 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 All right, so any World of Warcraft content creators, prepare for a new Twitch bot. Link to import my talent profiles is here to stay. And if you don't have that, God bless. God bless. God bless. If you do sub for talent imports, yes, there it is. There it is. Yeah, I saw Solar Flare. Thank you, Leslie. Sub for import. Oh, beautiful. Oh, that's creamy. Oh, that's creamy. Can I import your talents, mate? Why am I not doing 50k DPS? Good. But yeah, that's what I'm hoping for from this. So overall feel, I mean, it's the word of the day for me is potential. There's so much potential here. Same with dragon riding. I mean, this is what gets me excited about this, is once you reach max level, you can conquer additional challenges. Because, again, I don't want this to be a gimmick where you can just fly around the Dragon Isles and do barrel rolls. Chris said he's fine with that. Personally, I'm not. I want there to be... Okay, you've given us all these new toys. What can we do with them? What can we do with them? Make this a fun thing to invest in and have fun with. Like, the customization stuff is great. But now you've given us these new gameplay elements. Yeah, I mean, it looks exactly like Guild Wars 2, so that's fine. 4 zones. The only concern I have about the zones is that they're saying they're super huge and very vertical, which is great because they're embracing flying. That's fantastic. Finally, stop treating fucking flying like the bizarre love child that you had with somebody when you were like fucking 15 or something like that. Please, God, embrace flying. So they'll be very vertical. They keep saying about how huge they are. I just hope they're not empty. Huge is fine, but again, we look to Elden Ring for inspiration here. Elden Ring is massive, but there's also stuff every 20 meters that's awesome to do. So giant zones are fine as long as they're with stuff in them and we're not just riding across them for 5 minutes. Like, that sucks. That sucks. No, did you find new expansion by Lizard? Better mentality is on the community brain. Will choice really exist with talents? 100%. I think the only way you feel there's no choice with this talent system, based on what this very, 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 very early impression, is if you're the kind of guy who's, and there's a lot of WoW players like this, who start a new expansion, you go to your favorite streamer, content creator, website, YouTuber, whatever it might be, and you grab their current talent system. So, you know them guides that exist? This is why I'm so glad I don't do guides anymore. Where the guy, like, walks up to a training dummy. He says, this is the talent setup that you use for Resto. And it's like a 3-minute guide, and that's it. And he tells you something like, oh, well, you got a load of hots out. You should probably use Flourish. Shit like that. That won't work. That won't work. If you're that kind of person, I think you're getting, like, 1% of the benefits of a talent system like this. I think you're really doing yourself a disservice if you're utilizing the system to go, okay, what's the resto build? Ideally, there is no such thing as the resto build if they do it right. It should be, what's the high mobility resto build? What's the Mythic Plus resto build? What's the single target spam healing resto build? What's the mana conservation resto build? What's the big defensives resto build? Those kind of ideas is what you want to see out of a good talent system. So you can go to certain fights and be like, oh, okay, so this fight has a lot of, like, spread AoE. There's no big single target hits here. It's just a lot of constant raid damage. Okay, so I can maybe go down the left side of the tree, or the right side of the tree that way. Oh, I basically plant my feet here, and then randomly people get debuffed with Mega Attack of Death, and they need spot healing super fast. So perhaps I want something like, I have 2 Swift Mens, which, you know, or something like this. So I have 2 Swift Mens. I have a really short cooldown Ironbark. I have Cenarian Ward, which I've done some modification with over here. Something like that. So I can utilize those effectively. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hopeful for this system because, all things considered, the talent system has been competitive for most classes in the past few expansions. Proving to have fairly good customization. I hope so. I genuinely hope so. This is very exciting. This, again, potential is my word of the day. So much potential here. So much potential. And I just really hope they capitalize on it. Because one thing Blizzard's definitely been guilty of in the past is they come up with an idea of a system, and the premise is really fucking good. But that's like step 1 of the system, right? They have like step 1, but they've not considered what step 7 is. And then by the time we get there, they just ditch the system because the system stayed at step 1 and nobody liked step 1. Warfronts, island expeditions, whatever it might be. Like, warfronts are a fucking awesome idea. Garrisons are such a good idea. But step 1 has problems. It's not been worked out. But there was no step 2, 3, 4, or 5 on the iteration path, right? There was nothing else on the road. And we were like, oh, right. So we just get stuck with this thing. What's on the drawing board for, like, where this goes? Well, how does this develop? Where's the next thing? And it just kind of stays as the step 1 version, which is like, hey, that's pretty cool. We're going to buy your expansion and try it out. And it's like, there's problems here, guys. Where's the next step along this journey? And we don't get to go there, which would be a bummer. I'm glad there isn't any player housing. They can't do it right now, not the way players want it. So hopefully they develop that in the future. Would you not consider order halls an iteration of garrisons? No, not at all. I was kind of hoping order halls were returning. That was a big one I was hoping for with 10.0 is order halls were returning. They're so good and they're so underutilized, which is a real bummer. But no, garrisons were their attempt within the current system. As I said, I've spoken to some people directly when I've been at BlizzCon, and I've spoken to some people who work on WoW. I'm not sure if they're even still there. Player housing was a topic I discussed, and they're like, we just can't do it. Like, the code just doesn't allow for it. Maybe they'll be able to bolt something on in the future, but if we could do it, their message was always the same. It's like, if we could do it, then it would be in the fucking game. Because it would just print money, and it would be so free, and it'd be so fun, and so engaging. But we just can't do it. What we can do, like, in their defense, is what we can do is like garrisons, where we give you predetermined positions, and you can choose what's on there, because we've pre-made it. So basically, you're cycling through options. So we could give you a player house, but you would only be able to have the bed there. We could give you a variety of beds, and it doesn't even need to be a bed. It could be a shower or whatever, but it has to be in this location. What we can't do is allow you to sort of drag and drop things in the game into a certain location. So I think it was kind of like an interesting one, be at the Race to World first, is one of the big things I always ask for is instant replay, because it's so useful. And Noggy built that ridiculous tool, which was great, but it was on like a 4-minute delay, which is great, fine for the raiders, but for us as casters is no good. It's just too long, right? So we were like, can we have a replay? And the team was like, we could kind of almost do it. But although it sounds simple and it sounds easy and it sounds like we should be able to do it, you actually need to rebuild the system for the ground up to accommodate that process. And we haven't done that. So we can't do it. Like, you know, we could sort of make it happen as long as you give us some time. But, you know, it's you can kind of make it happen. But for what you're asking for, which is like something happens and I say, can we get a replay of that? And then we have it in like 20 seconds, that we can't do. What we can do is things like we can make a Twitch clip and we can broadcast that and do things along those lines, and we can slow it down and speed it up. But what we can't do is that thing. So hopefully I think the player housing situation is kind of that scenario. It's like, we can kind of do it, but it won't be like FF14. It won't be like WildStar, and then people will be pissed and they won't be happy. It won't be as you want it, which is a customizable environment. So it would just be a shit show if we released it. It'd be a shit show if we released it like that. You wouldn't like it. And certainly, if I'm Blizzard as well, if I'm Blizzard, I am waiting to see what this island thing is that's coming to FF14. Because if you're going to even talk about player housing, you're waiting to see exactly what Squeenix is doing right now. Because the island thing is coming soon, and whatever the hell that is just going to be... That's going to be the thing that you're probably basing things off, right? Limitations is totally understandable. I'm not shitting on Blizzard for this, but I also think it's the right decision to not do... When we all heard the announcement of garrisons, there's not a single fucking person here right now, and if you say you are a liar, who thought, oh, it's just going to be a map with some potholes in it, and I can choose what buildings go in those potholes. None of you thought that. We all thought, oh shit, we can customize it how we want. Right? No, you didn't, Shalani, you fucking liar. You absolute liar. There's none of us who thought that. We thought, oh, I'm going to be... Like, as an old-ass boomer raider, I was like, oh, I can put, like, Nefarian and Nixia's head on the door. I could do all this kind of shit. I could show off all this, like, legacy stuff that would be really cool. Perhaps I could put Nefarian's ashes on a table. Not Nefarian. Nightbane's ashes, because I did that. Maybe I could put that in a nice display of all the things I've done. But what we got was like, oh, okay... I mean, even the collectibles had to go to preset position on the walls, right? They have to predetermine where you go in WoW, where it goes, which is not what we wanted. What we got was a completely overly practical environment with some customization, but not really. You know, not really. God, it's... but again, so much potential here. So much potential. I'm really excited for them. I hope they do well. I really do. I hope they can recover World of Warcraft in a big, big way. That would be sweet. That would be so sweet. I hope they go a bit further with professions. I hope this doesn't turn into the raiders make all the money. Because this primal thing here does remind me of the Burning Crusade. Which makes me think that there'll be something that drops in Dragon Keep or whatever the first raid is. That's like a raider-only thing. Like Nether Vortex is. And basically all the plebs have to submit commissions to the raider blacksmiths, the raider tailors, the raider leatherworkers to craft them their really good piece of gear. And what I'm really, really hoping to see is that there's stuff that comes from M+, there's stuff that comes from some really focused and involved open world content. That would be dope. That comes from profession only. I have some more details on this that I'd like to share, but we kind of need... Chris has got to work on some graphics and shit. It's really hard to explain on the profession thing exactly what we kind of hope would happen with this, but we'll put that into a YouTube video because it's hard to explain right here. But there's a lot of ways they could go with this to make it really cool. Again, I hope this isn't a step 1 and there's no step 2, 3, 4, and 5 thing that like, hey, we made the commissions and things. That's it. Enjoy. I hope this system isn't dead on arrival either. Like, they're going to have to make this raid quality gear. And worthwhile. They're going to have to go to the TBC model where you were crafting the leatherworking chest for the Sunwell and you were doing all that kind of stuff because those items were super powerful. You were crafting the dual crafting rings, all that kind of stuff. Now, the restriction in the Burning Crusade, if I remember right, you had to be the profession... You had to be a leatherworker to wear those items? Like, by the Sunwell? Was that correct? I think so, right? So, like, you couldn't wear the chest, the leatherworking chest, unless you were a leatherworker. Like, it was bound to you being the profession. Okay. So, I hope they don't do that. They'll probably put a limitation on the amount of crafted items you can wear. But in order for this system to be worthwhile, these items have to be good. And good throughout the... That's a difficult balance to achieve. That's a difficult balance to achieve. So, you might see some really, really stupid, powerful items coming from crafting. So you will be looking... I imagine you are looking at a TBC model here with your belts of blasting, with all those Sunwell-generated items that are just really super strong. Like, stronger than anything that drops in the Mythic Raid. Something along those lines. As long as it's 5 out of 5 quality and you're not getting shoddy no-shit to build it for you. They already said they won't. It's on YouTube. Well, they will be with the optional reagents. No stats in the fight. Looks good. Well, the problem is, if these items aren't up to that level of quality... Where does the system go? Right? Where does the system go? As long as there's comparable items that drop elsewhere, it's fine. But where does it go? That's the question. Yeah, it goes into the trash can if it's not, like, going to fire off. Are you going to participate in the alpha beta cycles? I highly doubt I'm on the list anymore to play alpha and beta, so I'm going to say just a no to that. I would highly, highly doubt that. I mean, depending on what we hear over the next few months, it'll be interesting to see, because usually the big announcement is all positive stuff, all pretty cool, and then over the next few months, you know, more details come out, more interviews happen, they get into more specifics, and then we haven't heard anything about a renown system, and they do like these systems, our artifact system, but again, my big thing I'm hoping that they take into Dragonflight is stop punishing people for playing the game when they launch. Stop punishing your regular players, and stop rewarding the people who play for a month and then disappear. And giving them all the advantages. Like, that fucks me off to no end. Stop taxing people on the resources they've already gathered. God damn. Yeah, they won't be renowned, but they won't be... It won't be called renowned, but something like that. They still like their long-term progression things. Yeah, they said that there's going to be a rep in each zone, which is kind of standard Warcraft stuff. That's kind of fine. I imagine I wonder what rewards are going to be. I'm guessing it'll be reputation stuff. I do like this, though. This is a good embrace. This is such an embrace, yeah. All reputations simultaneously. Yeah, I think it'll just be zone progression, which is fine. Hi, Annie. Looking back extends to recent issue 2. Taking elements from an expansion like Shadowlands and reimagining them for the return of Azeroth. You're going to be seeing an advancement to the renown system that we used in Covenants, which we think is a really cool way to set up a reputation in a way that feels fresh for World of Warcraft, Fiesel says. 4 main reputations each have their own different set of renown levels, and that lets us reward you often. It lets us show you what you're getting during the course of unlocking various different things, whether that's cool cosmetics associated with those reputations or getting additional quest lines associated with them, additional gameplay. So more like tribals, maybe. We wanted to go really deep with all these different aspects, Jeremy adds. The new version of Daily Quest is going to be transferring over to a very activity-centric system that feels like you're always making progress. And unlike Covenants, you don't have to pick one of these different reputations to gain renown. You could do all of them. We're looking at how to incorporate alt-friendliness in the same way. Just make it account-wide, dude. It's not that hard. Just make it account-wide. Just bite the fucking bullet, man. A lot of your players have experienced a different way of life. And they're going to miss it if you make them regrind it. Depends what it is, right? Because there should be no power gains tied to this. If they make a sick story... Like, I'm doing a lot of the Beast Tribes in FF, just for the story. I like that the Vath are, like, building up its empire from this sheepish little tribe that's scared of their own shadows and are now starting to open up trade with everybody. I also kind of like the... I forget the name of them now, but the Owl people... are building, you know, refugees that are building a new life for themselves, setting up their own community, and you're introducing new members to it. Like, that kind of stuff is really good. That stuff is really fun. I don't really care about the mounts or anything, but I kind of... The Vanu Vanu. Yeah, the Vanu Vanu are, like, annoying characters, but their story is sick. I like that the Pixie story involves, like, the corruption of the dream world. That's awesome. So good. So, yeah, if they make a cool story and cool cosmetics, that'd be sweet. This is where I don't need to constantly grind them every day. I mean, hopefully you don't. Hopefully you don't. If these are optional and there's no player power assigned to them, that should be good. That should be good. You know what I mean? That should be GG's. What's this? Black Dragon shit. Oh, just a picture of loot. Okay. They haven't said what they're going to do with loot yet, right? They said they want collaborative... They want to improve collaborative loot. That's a term that marketing's come up with. That's the most marketing term I read. Where was it? Tier sets remain. The team will improve on the Great Vault. The Bronze Dragon will allow us to see unique stories involving timelines. I'm sure it's on here. They called it collaborative looting. Might not even be here. Let me Control F. There it is. No. Next one. There it is. The team isn't perfectly happy with personal loot and knows there is room to improve. They have nothing to announce but want to improve collaborative loot. Right. Collaborative loot is a nice term. It's a nice term. So tradable loots. I mean... Who knows, right? Who knows, dude? Who knows? What the fuck does that mean? Collaborative loot? I don't know. What does that mean? I think they're trying to avoid the word master loot or something like that, or distributable loot. Collaborative loot. So loot where you work together. Loot where you work together. Yeah, I can't call it master loot. Don't want to say it's tradable just yet. We'll just call it collaborative loot. That's a good marketing term that goes with it. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, even if they just go back to making it guild only, I think a lot of people will be pretty happy. It's guild only trading of anything you want to trade. I think that's fine, but we'll see. We'll see. What else did they say here that was really cool? The UI revamp, I don't really care about, but good for no add-on Andes. That's good. They will improve on the Great Vault and shit. I found out at the Race to World First that some players have an add-on cap that they don't allow themselves to go past. But one of those add-on caps, so they're like, I won't install more than 5 add-ons. Some sort of self-imposed rule. But one of those add-ons that they all have is Weak Auras, which is like 17,854 add-ons in itself, right? I think that's kind of cheating, don't you guys? Like, if one of those add-ons is Weak Auras, then... like, that's kind of cheating, in my opinion. Yeah, but they don't... Like, they draw the line at having, like, damage meters add-on 1, LVY, Weak Auras, Bigwigs, right? So that's, like, the cap. But if you throw in, like... Auctioneer or something, that's too far. You've got to drop out LVY for that. But Weak Auras is allowed? I mean... yeah, one add-on to rule them all. Yeah, Weak Auras is allowed, but we can't have Auctioneer. That'd be too much. That'd be way too much. We can't have like mythic dungeon tools or something like that because I've got LVY installed. I don't know. It was such a weird thing to impose upon oneself, but whatever. Not my game, so I don't really care. Do what you want to do. The team doesn't want to take away your add-ons, but give you the ability to play the game without having to rely on so many of them. And the only way you do that is to simplify the fights. Managed to drop the DPS meter? I can't see that ever happening. Can you? Can you imagine WoW without that? How many of you actually play FF without a damage meter? So I know that definitely some people are playing with it. I do. I don't play with a damage meter. Me? You guys wouldn't admit it anyway. Yoshi P's not watching. I suspect more people than you realize have a damage meter on their side. I would suspect. They don't look at it, but I mean, they don't talk about it, but I'm pretty sure some people, more people than you expect, actually have it. And just take a little glance, just a little glancey glance, just a little peepers at it. Very excited though, very excited. I think overall this is a good start, a really good start. I'm pretty good to see what's coming next. New raid, new level cap, yeah. New dungeons, good. Dude, were you not really sad though when Stonebro fell off that mountain? Stonebro is such a chad. Only WoW refugees use stuff like that. No. No. I was talking. People were talking to me about damage meters long before the WoW refugees things. That's just a no. That's a nice idea to think of, but that's just not true. That's absolutely not true. I was rooting for Stonebro. Same, man. Same. It's less than you think. Let's not pretend either of us know the answer to the question. Let's do that. But, I mean, I will go with the theory in my own mind's eye that it's more people than you think, even though they don't utilize them. It's literally 67 people. It's quite literally 67 people. I want to see if it's shatter or just kind of thwomp. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, don't bring up a game. That's fine. No reason. There's no issue with it at all. There's no issue at all. I feel like I've lost the sense without a damage meter. Yeah, I mean, the point was, getting back to the point, I don't think you can take it away from WoW at this point. That's the point before we go down some weird rabbit hole of trying to guess how many people in a totally different game use a damage meter. The point was, I don't think you can go back in World of Warcraft and take away the damage meter. I would suggest that's the thing. I don't think you can go back and take that away. You can certainly limit some functionality, which they've done in the past. Let's not pretend like they don't do this. They've limited functionality several times when they feel they have a line, right? Internally, they have a line that's like, we went too far here, and we need to draw it back. So they've done that several times. But again, I mean, I would maybe we could set up a raid event. How do we check though? Could we do, if I put a prize pool together of, say, 4 disc plates, something huge like that, something massive. Can we do like an Echo Liquid Pieces something race where nobody uses any add-ons? How would we know? Make it 5? Dude, I'm not made of money. The fuck? I'm not made of money. They have to stream. Everyone streams. You'd always have somebody who's like cheating. I think so. Is it even possible? Sure. The jailer with no add-ons. I mean, it's possible. You fucking poor. You fucking poor. Looking at you, Roger. Yeah, it would be poor. As long as there's money involved, hell no, people will try to cheat. I don't know. They're mostly stand-up guys. Mostly stand-up dudes. Probably has to be a tournament server with disabled add-ons. I mean, I don't think we can pull that off. But it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see what the difference is. I think actually bigger than raid mechanics. Honestly, I think the difference would be in how people DPS. Like, so many players rely on, certainly weak auras and things, to let them know timers and things like that. But, I mean, it's very adjustable. When I do all the PTR testing, we always do it without add-ons, and you pick it up very quickly. Like, it's not as big of a deal as you'd think. It's really not. Like, when we do all that testing, we do just fine without add-ons. Like, for a long, long time. It's not a big deal. Yeah, you just feel it. There's a lot of muscle memory. You kind of know when your 2 minutes and 3 minutes are coming back. Like, hopefully they move away from that model, so you're not... Not sure how some people feel about this, but I really dislike that you're a god for, like, 15, 20 seconds, and then you're dog shit for, like, 2 minutes, 45 seconds. Like, I fucking hate that. It really pisses me off. Like, it is cool, popping your combustion and popping all those things, but... It really fucking annoys me. Like, because you just feel like you're a waste of time for, like, 3/4 of the time you're playing. You were banned? Who got banned? What? I didn't ban anybody. That's how FF works, though, but I can't tell because I haven't got a damage meter. And to be fair, you can't compare FF rating to WoW rating. That's the biggest... that's the biggest misnomer in the world, is people trying to side-by-side compare those things. They're very, very different raid styles. Very, very different stay styles. Who got banned? I didn't see a ban. Morning, Stormy. Morning, you okay? I like the old Fire Mage and Mop where you had to be consistent to do top damage. WoW rating is better. I mean, they're different. They're different things. Different strokes, different folks, 100%. It's one of those. It's different strokes, different folks kind of thing. Because we got the Ultimate coming next week. Yeah, I mean, you're comparing completely different things. You could prefer one. Go-karting and F1 racing, you know, they're both racing things, but they're not the same thing. And personally, I prefer go-karting because anybody who likes F1, certainly if they work for me, is a fucking idiot. Because it's just really boring. Whereas go-karting is a trial of men. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Wow. Is that why you suck at go-karting? Well, you know, some of us took the competition fairly. Others stayed up and studied the turns like it was Cool Runnings or something. You know what I mean? Just saying. Oh shit, I got locked out. Help! Tales and love! I feel attacked. Nope's going full tryhard, right? Tryhards. React adding to this Bellular Pandemonium lore? No. No. Oh. I know my lore. I'm good. I always have the opinion the only reason people watch F1 is to see crashes. No. Like, the people who are really into it. Nope's next time the camera is on me. Yes, that, oh, who's that? That was Nope's. Nope's. He's a professional. Thinks he's good. Actually, like, tells me, he's like, oh, I won't be available at the weekend. I'm watching F1. What is that? What is that, dude? For real? Who does that? Why do I have 3 males, man? Can I find you? What, you want to play hide and seek, Azzy? Can I find you? Ha! Yes, I can find you. Yes, I can find you. Look, the house isn't that big that you could literally hide from me, right? Yes, I can find you. The problem is, Azzy, you have a giant orange name above your head. Like, maybe next time I'll turn off the UIs. And that way it'd be harder to find you. Maybe we could do that. Maybe we could do that. Call the fire department? I don't know. I don't know. Morning, everybody! I can find Bex as well, hiding in a tree. Morning, Bex. Good morning. I only clamped down on raiding weak auras and add-ons. It poisons the well of creativity for fights so much, because fights are designed with add-ons in mind. I actually think it's the opposite, but I'm not disagreeing with you. One thing that the prevalence of these complex add-ons allows them to make some very, very complex and creative fights with what they do. They would have to simplify it a little bit if it didn't have add-ons. But But, again, I'm not disagreeing with you. It would be nice not to see the absolute utter reliance on weak aura teams. Certainly at the world first level. Like, it's not something that affects anybody else at all. Let's be clear on this. It affects like 200 people globally who have that. But it is annoying. It is annoying. Because the fights just look... I think, honestly, my biggest issue with it... How did you guys sit on here? What the fuck? How's that possible? My biggest issue with it is it's from a getting players involved standpoint. It looks to me... Hold on. I think... And this Race to World First is, like, the prime example of this. Although I will stand by what I said, is this Race to World First was a complete anomaly. And I don't expect anything like that. Anything similar to happen in the near future. Like, for at least 4 or 5 years. But I do think when... okay, we got a world first kill here. I think this is possibly... even though common sense tells you... Was this Marvel intro? I haven't seen this. He did a Marvel intro? Oh, Mitch. I know this is Mitch's work. Wow, who didn't get in?
Oh, it's fine.
I think this is possibly the most... Stop having fun.
That was funny, bro.
That was a good one, bro.
I think this puts off a lot of people from even trying raiding, although they would never raid under these circumstances. I mean, genuinely.
Yeah,
I think when they have all the add-ons going off, like, I think this is fine. I think this is fine. And choosing which buffs to track is fine. But I genuinely think that the fights look so complicated and so difficult that most players don't want to even consider playing at all. Can we go Scripe POV?
Ready for blood?
That would make more sense, right?
Fast with the mark and big overlap.
Yeah, even though common sense tells you you will never ever have to deal with this scenario, and you won't have to make these add-ons. They will tell you what's going on. Is this from the player's POV? Who cares? So Scribe God.
Farming positions.
I mean, people bitch about the add-ons because they look at Scribe and Max's POV, right? With like every cooldown in the world, but like Zalia's is clean as fuck. And in fact, it could be a lot better. Like, you know, I don't know why Ken has, like, how much he didn't heal Mirez for. You know? Like, damage taken is fine. But, like, Ken's UI is really clean. Like, there's nothing awkward on here, right? This is clean. All he's got is his raid frames. An angelic buff. That's it. And the spell the boss is casting. What's not clean about this? He's got a damage meter. And the spell the boss is casting, that's it. What's not clean about that? And raid frames, that's it. You sound like Asmo, my room is clean? You don't think this is a pretty clean UI? No?
AoE ads.
Really? No, there's too much shit on it. What do you mean? Him, the raid... The thing he's targeting... A focus target? What? Half the screen is UI? No. No? Like, not all.
Pump the ads.
Maybe I'm too used to looking at these. Like, okay. I mean, it's different strokes for different folks. I would say this is not a clean UI. Am I trolling? I'm not trolling. No, I think Ken's is pretty clean. But, like, this is how they prefer to play, and I'm fine with that. But, like, my UI was always pretty clean. Like, this to me is way too much, right?
Drops. Good. And click scroll break. On bombs so soon after these circles.
What about Fabos? Fabos has got, like, a couple of spell cooldowns, bomb stuff. Oh, this is the grip of the year, by the way. The teleport grip of the year. Much better, yeah. Like, that's the thing, I think, with WoW stuff, is it's really subjective. But I need a Scripe POV. Do we not have that? Because this is what most people see, and I think this is what most people go. Echo, Jailer. There must be a stream rip. Somebody must have ripped it off.
Holy fuck, after we win,
Yeah.
it's gonna
Okay.
be really good.
Well, even that's not that bad.
And jumps under the boss.
Right? Got raid cooldowns over here. Things the boss is doing. I mean, this is very similar to my UI. Like, very, very similar to my UI.
Holy shit.
It's decent. Yeah. Okay, I kind of killed my own point here, because...
And MC's under the boss. Doom is stunning first.
Hold on.
I guess.
Because there are other variations. Not to pick on Scott, but, I mean... this is too much. But Scott's also known for having this UI forever and ever and ever, right? Jesus fuck right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. When I've done casting for Method in the past, they were like, is there anybody's UI you never want to see? And I was like, Sco's. Like, never put that up on screen. Like, it has the information I want, but, I mean... It's practically unwatchable from a viewing standpoint. It's pretty unwatchable to deal with this. Like, it's fucking crazy. This is a bit of an explosion. This is cursed. It's cursed. It is, but also known for having a cursed UI. What did Max use? Where's I think Max always had a good POV, didn't he? Yeah, he watched Fired Ups, right? Which is also fine. Like, I've got no issue with this. Yeah, Max used Fired Ups. Fine. Yeah, they're okay. They're not as bad as people say, but I think it's, Oh, I know. I know what fucks people off. Okay, I can remake my point. I'm grasping at straws. I'm aware that I'm grasping at straws, but, you know, shut up. It's my stream. I'll do what I want. It's my stream. I'll do what I want. This is the kind of thing I think puts people off. I don't think Liquid had an add-on like this. Wait for it. This thing was fucking crazy. This thing was absolutely nuts. But, I mean, it was really cool. But this is the kind of thing people freak out about weak auras for. Like this thing that popped up. Now, I mean, to be fair, it was genius. It was an absolutely genius thing. But I think it definitely puts people off when they see things like that pop up. Alien signal? I mean, the first time I saw this during the race, I was like, what the fuck is that? Because originally it was massive. It, like, filled everybody's screen. That's a relatively clean one, but what is it? Okay, so... For whatever reason, and I don't know if Grim's watching, who designed this thing, but I know he put in so much work into this. Alright, so you can see they all stand in a very set pattern. You can see how they've moved to very, very specific points. And what happens is, you get these buffs and debuffs. So you can see the black one and the yellow one. And all you have to do is pair off with another color. But everybody has to do it in the whole raid, right? Otherwise you explode and it's bad and blah, 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 blah. So if you've got a black debuff, you need to touch a yellow debuff, and then your debuffs are gone. So what they decided to do was come up with this giga complex weak aura that you had to stand in this very specific spot, and then green would show you where you need to pair up with. So you're the blue marker. So this is actually turned on its side compared to how they're stood right now. So this is the tanks and stuff like that. So they'll be stood around here. And if you're green, that means... So once you see this means that Lorgot goes left to pair up with Fabo. So you can see there's also a name here. That's Fabo. And... done. Perfect. And then the thing disappears. So... that was it. But, unfortunately... Liquid realized that you didn't need to do any of this, and you could just YOLO it. Because it was fine. And it only happens 3 times in the whole fight, and it's in the first 30 seconds. And therefore, it's completely unnecessary. And the whole thing was completely unnecessary. That's what they realized after they got it. Oh, they way overcomplicated. I know Grim, who's the guy who made this, was just like, I spent so fucking long making this thing because I think they expected that this would happen throughout the fight. It would be a constant thing. It wasn't. It happens just 3 times in the very first phase, and then it's over and it's done with, and you don't need to worry about it ever again. So, well, there you go. That's me grasping at my straws. Honestly, the FF UI could be so bad. Dark Knight Classic Consequence. We could do that today, actually. I think we need to do the Unreal. I need to get my Unreal done, for sure. Yeah. We need to get the Unreal done. You guys are having a hell of a time. I don't want to explore too much in the house while all this is going on. So much good. What's on the menu today? Lots of things. Let's get loads done today. I don't think a lot of people in chat who don't raid realize that WoW Fights will be created basically around the Fat Islands will be used. Yes, they are. But I think people do realize that. But I think people are saying they prefer it to not be that way. And have more obvious encounters where you have to react to stuff. I think one thing you can say about FF is it has proven that visual cues can be hard enough. Right? Visual cues and pattern recognition can be hard enough, but I don't think that the FF pattern recognition stuff would work in a WoW environment. Because they're just 2 totally different elements in terms of how the classes interact and play in those environments and how they work. So, personally, I'll say this. Personally, I'm fine with the way add-ons are in WoW. I think it's something that is overblown because they see a lot of things like... When they watch the Race to the World first, I think they hear a lot of things about our weak aura team, and we've got these, like, technical groups that are working on things and all this kind of stuff, and they go like, oh, this is, like, so big. Whereas when you play it yourself, as an average human being, they're like, okay, this is the... it's like installing a boss mod. And it's like, this is how it works, and off we go to the races. I don't think it's a big deal. Personally, I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's something... a vicarious living combination is going through. So that's it. It's a massive... I got massive add-on fatigue in WoW after playing other MMOs. I mean, how many add-ons are you using? That's the thing. Like, I had very few. I had weak auras, boss mods, and I had weak auras basically because that would... If we're doing a really hard encounter, Alex would be like, here's the weak aura for this fight, import it, done, and that's it. Other than that, I had some UI customization because WoW's UI is terrible. Like, that was the way it was. At least 75. Yeah. I had about 20, but it's still annoying for me personally. I think you have to manage that yourself a little bit. You know, is there any that you really, really need? Not really. Like, I think that as long as you got... I mean, the ones that make your life much easier are certainly things that are like a boss timer, right? Like, you know the massive smash is coming in like 20 seconds and you can plan around it and things like that. That's a bad take. Okay. Where you're used to using recores, try being a new player. It's a lot of work you've got to do to set up a proper WoW rating UI. I disagree. I don't think so. I think it depends how you go about it, but I don't think that's the case. I think that a lot of... Unless you're starting to, like, rebuild it from the ground up from scratch, I actually find that kind of fun. So that's my perspective on that. When I go to do a UI... Like, when I've sat down to do my UI and things like that, I generally have a lot of fun with it and mess around with it. I think the vast majority of people, as a guest, use UI packages that are already predetermined. I think they go... At least this is how it used to be. So I have no reason to suspect this has changed. Is that you literally look for a UI you like and install it. And it's done. And most of them actually come with installer packs now. So they're just done. We were building an installer pack for our UI that did it all for you. The weak auras trivialize fights for casuals. Absolutely not. Like, also not true. I'm not sure why people believe that, but that's not the case. Having the weak aura does not trivialize fights for any means at all. I mean, all the weak auras are released now for the endgame fights, and still only 17 guilds have managed to finish the Sepulchre. Like, the idea that it trivializes things is crazy. That's nuts. And in fact, only 60 guilds have managed to do 10 out of 10. The Hungering Aura weak aura was... Hungering Destroyer weak aura was... good for your guild, which is fine, right? But you didn't need it. We did it without the weak aura. Our guild did it before there was a weaker. Why so few clears? Because the fight's really fucking hard. Like, really fucking hard. Like, despite knowing what it is, it doesn't matter. Like, it having the weak auras or anything like that doesn't change that it's really, really fucking hard. Like, it's super hard. It's not trivializing it, but that makes it remove the problem solving for the non-top guilds and follow orders instead of problem solving. Okay, so you're talking about a different issue. That is nothing to do with add-ons. You're talking about blind progress in World of Warcraft, because blind progress is such a bigger thing in FF14. I agree. If I can agree with if blind progress was a big thing in WoW, then you don't have access to weak aura creators and whatnot is a problem. But I also don't think blind progress is a big deal in World of Warcraft for a lot of guilds. I don't think so. Final Fantasy raiding lends itself to blind progress because all their fights are puzzle solves. A couple of fights in WoW are puzzle solving, but not a lot of them. They're just it's a different raid style. Like FF is a puzzle solving situation in nearly all occasions, so that works. I do this type of mechanics because of add-ons. In some cases, they're not with things like Halondrus. Like, it's a case-by-case basis. There are certain fights that, yes, they're building around the idea that you've got add-ons for it. But to like, paint it with a broad brush is really dumb. Like, there's so many fights that don't require that kind of stuff. What style is WoW raiding? Far more reactive and fast-paced, and it's a much more output-orientated game as well. It's a very, very different style. Like, if you've played both, certainly you can see the difference immediately. WoW is just gear checks and obscure mechanics. Also, not true. Some fucking crazy takes in the chat today. Have you guys raided before? I don't want to shit on my audience, man, but there's some fucking awful takes going on in the chat right now. Like, you've never played this game. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy how much dog shit ideas I'm hearing. Like, it's really weird. I get if you've not played it, like, fair enough, man, but there's some fucking criminally silly ideas going on. WoW raiding is just pressing buttons. We're kind of on the par with some of the takes here, for sure. For sure, some really weird takes. Not all the chat, but they're just like, some of the takes, I don't know where you're getting these ideas from, but they're completely inaccurate. And all I would say is, try and drop that mentality, because it's not true. I'm telling you now, it is not true. Whatever this weird sort of pre-built... You're like me with FF, right? Where I was like, FF is dog shit and awful, I'm going to hate it. Be open to changing your mind on that, because I'm telling you now, as somebody who's done this for like well over a decade, you're wrong. You're just flat out wrong. Believe me. And I'm not being a one-side shill Andy for anybody. You're wrong with a lot of the takes you're doing. You think they could slowly transition to more puzzle fights? No, I don't think FF raiding is conducive to the WoW environment. I don't think that works. FF's found its feet. You can see, one of the cool things is, you can see, right, when you do coils, and like early coils especially, they try to do a sort of WoW thing. They try to be like, that's kind of what works, and they kind of try to do a WoW thing. And then very quickly, and as rightfully should do, they start splitting. They start splitting off. And you can see it happen. It's like, okay, our direction is more this way. WoW's direction is more that way. And they start diverging very, very quickly. Until the point where now FF has got its feet. And I always use the FF dungeons as a great example of this. Is they found their feet with that in Stormblood, with how their dungeons should be. And they've done that every single time since, including Endwalker. They follow, like, that's the model that works for us. Let's go with that. And WoW went the same way as well. Like, if you look at vanilla dungeons, vanilla WoW dungeons are all over the place. Some of them are like 10 minutes. Some of them are like an hour and a half. They're really fucking crazy. You then get to the Burning Crusade, where they were like an hour long, at least for in the actual launch. I'm not talking about the classic versions, because they're not a good metric of the original experience. And like, some of them are like an hour long and really hard and really brutal. And then they flip-flopped to Wrath of the Lich King, where they were ridiculously easy to the point that it made no goddamn sense, and they were so boring that you could just run through them and pull literally the whole dungeon and AoE it at the end. Like, what the fuck were they thinking with that? And then in, like, Kata, they went a little bit too far back, and then they found their way. So, like, the diversion happens where... And then FF iterates on its own strengths, right? It iterates on its own strengths, and it gets better and better in the FF style. Whereas WoW dungeons then accelerate into Mythic Plus. I know not everybody likes Mythic Plus. But they then go into the Mythic Plus direction where they kind of have a set formula, and it works that way. So they diverged a long time ago. Should we take your opinion seriously when you haven't done high-end rating FF yet? I don't care. I really don't care. What I have done is enough rating in FF to understand what the situation is, and I've casted and watched enough of it to understand it, because I do have that crazy experience from being able to cast and watch things. There's a reason I cast Races to World first, and people ask me about it. So I can draw an opinion from it without doing it, just as I know when I order a shitty meal from a restaurant that it's bad without being a chef. I'm not saying this is bad, but I can see the strengths and benefits of it, right? You understand that? I could do that. So if you disagree with me, I don't fucking care. I really don't. But I'm still telling you that's the way it is. And if you're going to sit there and say, oh, you haven't done Savage, and let me tell you, Savage raiding is exactly like raiding in World of Warcraft at the Mythic level, I think you're fucking mental. I really do. I think you're fucking really stupid to draw that comparison, because it's blatantly not. The games don't work the same way whatsoever. So if you think that's some sort of like nonsensical opinion, I think you're living in a copium box filled with your own farts, genuinely, right? I just genuinely they feel like that's the take, right? I think you're living in a weird fantasy world. Savage is not the pinnacle, and then I get these like actually takes, even though they're probably it's like, but what if Ultimate and things like that? It's like, yeah, we all know about that. We don't need to do that kind of thing, right? You know what I mean? We understand that. So it's just the simple things. They're not even remotely the same. You can see that after playing for like a little bit that they're not the same. You know what I mean? I think I would have a good time too. I don't know anybody who's listening to this who thinks that you won't... Oh, Mike doesn't enjoy Savage. If you heard that in anything I said, you're also living in a fart box. Because I never said anything like that. At all. In any way, shape or form. All I've said is they're literally very different. That's it. So, I mean, come out the fart box. Smell the roses. That's all I'm saying. Come out. Have a little... Touch grass is the common thing. It's fine. Right? Come out the fart box. Was Jailer a puzzle fight? It looked like an FF raid, just with more people. Jailer was a highly technical puzzle fight, yeah, but the other fights weren't. Like, Rygelon wasn't. You see the way it has divergence. Some fights are puzzles, some aren't. And that's the way it's conducive to that. But it was also built into the WoW raiding style, which is very different. Why are you calling my home a fart box? I'm very confused by people who get upset about a very obvious opinion that's not that far off. It just is, like, try to belittle it because, like, you're either an FF fanboy or a WoW fanboy for some reason. I don't know why you need to put all your shoes into one closet. I don't get it. But it's just the way it is. People have tried to gatekeep. I mean, whatever. If that makes you feel better, I don't fucking care. Like, I really don't. I don't care. People want to shit on it. Well, that's what Chris said yesterday. Is like there was a lot of people looking to rage bait the Dragon thing announcement, right? The Dragonflight announcement yesterday. But overall, it was pretty positive. Like there wasn't much in there to dislike. Like you could say, "Oh, I don't like the way the Drakthir look or whatever." That's fine. No one cares. That's fine. I don't like them either. But I mean, overall, it was pretty fucking positive. It was pretty good. So you know, not gonna do that. Little Andrew. There you go. Imagine enjoying more than one game. It's a difficult... No, like you say, it's not... I'm not being one guide. A lot of people feel that way. Like, we're giving away right now, this isn't a shill thing, 500 quid's worth of top-of-the-line peripherals, right? We're giving away 500 quid's worth of top-of-the-line gaming peripherals right now. Immediately response was, I would have touched Corsair with a dirty dick. And I'm like... Okay, I mean, be that stupid about it, but like, why? No. What is it? Corsair? No thanks. No thanks. I don't want that. I'm like, this is literally the most comfortable keyboard I've ever used in my life. What, you have an issue with Corsair? You know what I mean? That's getting one guide. I'm like, well, you know, whatever. Go down. Not using that. No. Free. Couldn't pay me. Couldn't fucking pay me. I would touch it. Oh. No thanks. Like, it's free shit. Really expensive, good quality peripherals for free. No. No thanks. No thanks. Corsair keyboards are overpriced crap though. Best keyboard I've ever used. So, I'll take it. And free is not overpriced. As far as I know. I mean, I bought mine. I'm happy with it.